What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another weekly update. And this week is another week of earnings. Although a lot of the market has already reported earnings, we still have quite a bit of earnings this week. Starting out with Trading Desk on Monday morning. We do also have Workhorse Monday morning and Tyson's Chicken Monday morning. And then to follow it up with AMC Monday after the close, we got Fubo, we got NIO, we got Wix, Wendy's, Clover, Open Door, eBay, Wish, Disney, Palantir, Baidu. We have a lot. We even have Sophie and Blink, Bumble, Roots. I mean, there's a lot of earnings still to be reported, although a lot of the major earnings have already been reported. So we got an interesting week at hand. And this week, we still have core CPI coming out as well. We still got a lot of information coming out about inflation. Inflation, I think, really at this point, even Kathy has come out and did her essentially her jobs reports that she does every month. But she came out and talked about a lot of different things this past weekend. And a lot of things seem to be on track. Right now, we're trying to feel out if we are in the deflation or inflation particular period at the moment. Everything's due, even what Kathy Woods has been saying, is a lot of things do seem like they are going in the side of growth. And she talked about, even in that video, she talked about how used cars were up so high. I think it was about 2 months ago. I think they're like I want to say 16% or 17%, something like that, bump up in price, and they have actually come down quite significantly. I think like 4%, 5% since that point. We talked about how everything's fallen down, how gold's fallen down, how the price of lumber and everything has fallen down since that particular point, since 2 months ago. So inflation, again, and even others have talked about this, right? And going by the last inflation numbers, inflation is in travel right now. It was in lumber. Now it's rotated into travel. Again, something we've talked about because of the fact that the demand for travel is going to be in high demand because of the pandemic and being locked away. Being said, from that point, there's such a significant demand. And something that she pointed out was that even though there was so much demand, there was so much bulk order for lumber and everything, buying months and months in advance for these things, they're going to get to a point too where they're not needed anymore. The demand is going to go down. And so being said, the inflation is going to come down, right? And you've talked about this, even Powell's talked about being transitory. He's kind of walked that back as far as transitory, saying it's kind of there. It's kind of going to stay, but it's kind of not going to go. And so people are calling him out on that. But it's really about supply and demand. And I think that's going to come back down to normal levels, inflation. But the funny thing is every time inflation is mentioned, is tech will sell. And we saw that on Friday. On Friday, we saw a lot of tech. It didn't sell bad, but we did pull back. But the funny thing is on QQQs, is we broke, not even on QQQs, but on SPY, we broke all-time highs. And it actually looks like we're retesting support. So I wouldn't be surprised Monday if we wake up, or Sunday nights, if we wake up and we're down retesting at this level. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we're flat and then drop into this level. On both SPY and QQQ. QQQ is already sitting on support. But being said, I think Monday, because last weekend we had a down Friday, down Monday, I think for this Friday we had kind of a flat Monday, or flat Friday. I think there's a good chance we're going to have an up Monday. But being said, inflation concerns and all those things are still in there. But I think the market is still running, right? One thing to keep in mind is all the inflation stuff and all that, they're not making as dramatic moves. Even a couple months ago when inflation was brought up, they were big swings like this. Although this was virus scare stuff, but there were big swings like this going into inflation. Every time inflation was mentioned, tech would sell so quick. But now it's, inflation talks. Actually, all the data on Friday was extremely positive. With that being said, there is more leaning towards tapering. With that being said, they're talking about moving up tapering. Even Kathy Woods talked about tapering, and the fact that tapering, even if they do start early, would be a good thing. Yes, we may see an initial pullback on QQQ, worries and concerns on operation and normalizing. But I think a lot of that stuff is kind of worked out back in March, brought it down. That's why you haven't seen Tesla hit 900 again. That's been cool, essentially floating around that $500 to $700 range. But being said, from this point, this week, there's a lot more earnings. There's a lot still more to come. And even a lot of my plays, even though I've been talking about, the FANG leaders, essentially staying with the FANG leaders over the past couple of weeks, I think that's going to rotate. We're starting to see a lot of push in the banks and the financials. And even I do have a not a wish list, but a watch list this week. As you can see, I always highly suggest that you follow FANG, you follow big tech, because if there's going to be a quick turnaround, you want to be in them. I don't typically mention a lot of other ones that are, I do mention some that are mid caps and smaller caps, but ultimately I like to stay with the bigger movers in tech. Right now, the rotation of money has been fast into different things. We did see vaccines and we saw chips towards the end of last week. This week, I think we're going to see a rotation into mid caps a little bit. And so my list is kind of based off of that and what we got planned out, especially with earnings coming up. Like I said, the coin that I got on here is mainly because Bitcoin is running back up. That's why I'm suggesting coin. I think coin will run with Bitcoin, and coin also has earnings on Tuesday after close. So that's something to keep in mind. So I want to watch coin on Monday. TTD's got earnings in the morning Monday, so I want to see continuation for that. Shop on the daily is still always very strong. So I want to keep that one on watch. Roblox, if mid caps start turning up, this one is actually starting to break out. So I want to keep an eye on Roblox. Airbnb has earnings later this week. Something I want to keep to see if there's a run up and starting to break out and start to get some steam. But one thing to keep in mind with this one, and my only concern with this one is the virus stuff keeps coming up. Every time that does come up, it seems like any kind of travel related gets hit pretty fast, pretty quick. So that's something to keep in mind with that one. Disney is later this week as well. It's something to really watch. It might be a run up for that one. Planter is on Thursday as well later this week, and so there might be another run up on that. Gonna have to kind of feel it out, see if that's that. Like I said, the mid cap and stuff start really picking up from that point, but we have to see and play it by ear. So being said, coin is the first one I have. Now coin is one it was playing so. I tried to capture it a couple different times because I was trying to see if it would pop back, but coin actually came out, IPO'd right kind of when Bitcoin started selling off, and so you got a lot of mass to sell. Then it kind of just balanced out. Now it's slowly picking back up now with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's been running over the weekend. It broke over that 41 mark, and so now I'm expecting it to make all-time highs again. And so with that being said, I want to really watch this and see how fast this climbs, especially if it's got earnings on Tuesday, and then if it crushes earnings, is something I want to watch. So I want to play continuation on this. A lot of the plays I have, again, are possible continuation plays going into this week. So coin I really like. I want to see what it does. As long as Bitcoin is pushing, I think there would be a strong correlation between Bitcoin and coin. and watch that correlation again on Tuesday. If it crushes it, I think this is really going to really get some steam. This might be one of the main players for me this week because of that, because of the push and the earnings. So why I want to keep it on watch. TTD is the next one. This one is primarily because of earnings. I want to see what they do. If they do really well come Monday, maybe we actually blow out of this consolidation box that we've got going on here and start making some good possible all-time highs. I don't really know what the all-time high is here. Yeah, so going back and retesting that all-time high, I think is a strong possibility, especially if they crush earnings with the ad revenue. So it's give or take, because you've seen misses with Facebook, but you've also seen massive gains with Google. So it's something I think you should watch there. Shop is one I still really like on the daily. I like it. Ultimately, I want to see if it breaks back over on the hourly. Oh, this is the hourly. But on the daily, I mean, we're still good as long as we are holding this 1525, so 1526. As long as the daily candle opens above that, I think we're going to run back up and try to retest all-time highs here. Just be mindful. I know Shop gets in specific points where after earnings, that's why I think a lot of big tech, they ran a lot. And so you have to be careful, because around this time, at any given moment, they're just going to start selling off. The money will be liquidated and moved somewhere else. And so this one, I'm really just kind of watching. I want to see. I'd be really cautious with this one, only because it's already had earnings. Kind of let it cool off a little bit and then see where it sits from that point. But I want to keep it on watch this week. Roblox is the other one I have on here. Now, Roblox is one I've been in and out of quite a bit. I do like Roblox a lot. It's been sitting at this level. It looks like we actually broke this wedge, and I'm retesting it on the daily. And then it also has earnings on the 17th. Looks like, so we got another week. So we might actually start seeing a run up on this going into next week. So more likely what I'll probably do, as long as the market holds fairly decently, I'll probably more likely try to get back into this at its current state. I want to see if it holds this. It's back into that 76, 75 range. I do like it in this range. It's been holding this range really well. Just want to make sure it does hold that this week. If it does, I'll be looking for the rotation. Even though the market might start selling, there might just be rotation and maybe get some value. Like I said, banks have really been running. I'm not planning on playing banks. If you want to play banks, I think banks were really strong on Friday because of inflation talk. Airbnb is the other one. Airbnb, again, earnings. I want to see what it does here. It's really been stuck in this 50 and 130 mark. So we want to see how this plays out. Kind of wishing I would have grabbed it at the 130 mark, but the market at that point wasn't looking so hot. Nonetheless, I think look for a breakout this week on this. Maybe it doesn't break this range. Maybe it waits until earnings. But if it does crush earnings, I definitely want to look for continuation on Airbnb. Disney is another one with a park reopenings, Disney Plus and everything. This one may not actually move a lot, only because of Netflix, how their streaming service wasn't the greatest. And you also have Roku, who lost subscribers. I think the reason why this is being held back is because of those possible numbers. But I think it's going to crush earnings. So it's something I think you should keep a mind on for continuation this week as well. Planter is another one I want to watch. I want to watch the run up on this one. See if it does break out of this range. It's been stuck in this range for a while. So I want to see if it breaks this range this week, or it just holds this range until earnings, and then possibly if it does crush earnings, I can see this thing really going back to being kind of parabolic. At least get back up to the 25 mark, if not more. I don't think these are going to run back into February numbers. A lot of these, even like your Fastlies and stuff, they ran up ridiculously high. Back in January, this was up to 45. those kind of numbers, right? We kind of had a normalization period and everything back in March. So we really haven't seen a lot of these stocks go that high in a while. So I think you're going to see this. You're going to see a lot of range bound stuff. So right now, that's what I'm trying to switch it up a little bit and trying to play more things that are trying to follow the money and see where the money's going from this point. Right now, Bitcoin starts running. Again, you have Coin, you have Riot as well. Riot isn't one I really typically play, but Riot is another one you can possibly play off the Bitcoin run. And then vaccines, right? You can still watch vaccines. Vaccines, I'd be careful though. They're already running really hot. That's why I haven't mentioned them here. But mainly is just focusing on continuation plays of earnings this week. I think that's where my focus will be on, and see where we go from there, right? It changes day to day, and new news comes out, and then you adjust on the fly. So, being said, if you've made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.